couple of years ago with Futura, and they were celebrating the life of Jean-Michel Basquiat. And Jeffrey said he referred to Basquiat as like a visual DJ, almost, in terms of not only because obviously the Randall Z record he created, which you and I remember, not only was that, and he was a DJ, but visually he was a DJ, and it feels the same with you. Obviously, music has a huge influence on what you do. Musicians feature in your artwork. One of my favorite recent pieces I acquired from yourself was the Chuck D and Jeanette Beckman from a couple of years ago, and that to me felt like a mashup a DJ would do. They'd take the photo from Jeanette, you would interpolate that kind of photo. You collaborated with Chuck, so it's signed by three of my favorite, one of my favorite artists, yourself, Jeanette, one of my favorite photographers, and one of my favorite, musical heroes of all time, Chuck. And what an amazing, skill you had in pulling that together. And to me, that feels like almost like DJing in its purest form, sampling in a way.
Well, I do DJ, and I look at culture, especially since the internet, but really since the printing press, as something where a lot of raw material is created that can create reference points for a lot of people simultaneously. So, the idea of how something can be somewhat universal and yet filtered through an artist or a musician's or a DJ's sensibility also becomes something new at the same time. This is like watching the progression of culture before your eyes in a very transparent way, when the way a DJ does it, and I think the way I do it as well. And I'm quite omnivorous when it comes to my influences. Music is a very big influence on me because it is so democratic and has so much style. And I'm paraphrasing Bukowski, but he basically said, if it's worth saying with style. And so this idea that music is such it's both, it can be escapist and pleasurable, but also provocative and engaging. That you've got this dichotomy. I want my art to deliver the same thing.
I almost had a diva moment myself. You were saying if you can do a public piece, that you weren't going to come. And Sylvain said, you know what, we were meant to DJ together at the Opera Gallery tomorrow night. That was the plan. And I'm like, what do you mean I can't DJ? I'm out. So he toured me around. I'm like, no, you got to do it for the film. I'm joking. It wasn't a hard sell. How, in terms of musical influences and art, obviously, we grew up on the Beastie Boys and Run DMC and Public Enemy, and obviously in one of your pieces in the exhibition tomorrow night, there's got Snoop Dogg in there. I think I saw Chuck D in there, a couple more from my sneak preview. How have there been any more collaborations, any more things like that planned, or any artists that you haven't sketched or drawn or incorporated into your artwork that you would like to? I know there's a huge punk influence, and you're a huge punk fan. Any that you've been particularly proud of? Any examples of how the artists have seen it and how they've reacted to it?
The crazy thing is that so many of my heroes that I've made art of have then wanted to collaborate with me, and whether it's Henry Rollins from Black Flag or Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols, Joe Strummer Foundation, The Clash are my all-time favorite band. I've done several projects with them, projects with the Ramones. I mean, the Misfits, I did their 40th anniversary logo. It's almost a Wayne's World, I'm not worthy situation. I feel somewhat embarrassed how many cool projects I've gotten to do, and there's so many talented people out there, but I love music, and I think that when I'm a fan of a band, and from, like you said, Run DMC I've collaborated with, Public Enemy, Ice-T. I think that my passion maybe is something that they pick up on, and it's like, you sort of, it's this full circle amplification that happens. And I never got to collaborate with David Bowie. That's the one, the one that slipped away. I love David Bowie, but I just did the paintings in the show, the Kurt Cobain. For years, I loved Nirvana since the beginning, but there were so many iconic Cobain shots that were used over and over and over again. And a lot of times when I make a portrait, I like to do it based on something that's not as well known, so that the viewer doesn't already have a lot of sort of pre-existing, either baggage with it or ownership of it in a different way. And so I met a guy whose sister, Naomi Peterson, used to shoot a lot of stuff for SST Records that had Husker Du, Sonic Youth, and the scene that Nirvana came out of. And she took some shots of Nirvana in 1990 that were really grainy because it was low light, but Kurt looks amazing, and I made an illustration from one of those that's in the show. So I'm proud about that, because Nirvana is big business still. It's not easy to get clearance on that stuff, and so started with the manager, then went to the family, then went to the licensing company. I've never gone through so much bureaucracy to get an image cleared, and at every step the people said, like, oh wow, we love the illustration, but the next people up the ladder are, they're real tough. And that just kept happening and happening. But it finally was approved, so I'm excited about that. I just did a piece for an album art show based on the Clash's London Calling that I'm pretty excited about. It's showing in London. So, there's always going to be more music stuff to do. But I can't think of, Victoria, any music stuff that we got cooking? Sometimes I forget.
Any more mashups like the Jeanette?
I don't know if you can say Lemming.
Oh yeah, Motorhead. Yeah, the Motorhead estate asked me to do, and Lemmy is not the belle of the ball, but I did a handsome portrait of Lemmy. So if you're a Motorhead fan, this is the one.
I've drunk JD. I won't say the actual brand because I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that, but I've drunk JD on a couple of occasions with Lemmy. He's a serious JD consumer.
Oh yeah.
He was, should I say?
Well,
it contributed.
So I'm excited about that. That's coming out soon.
Amazing. I'm a father of 3 young boys, and my poor wife is the minority in the household. You're a father of 2 girls, and you must be the minority in the household. Joking aside, please tell me and share with us about the importance of including women, imagery, feminism in your artwork, and one of the I think you're launching. Am I allowed to say that? One of the prints that you're launching at the Opera Gallery tomorrow is the Lotus Angel. Is this one? Okay, right.
Yeah, the Justice Woman.
I've got Justice Woman. Sorry, I thought I saw that and I wasn't sure which one. Please tell us, share your experience. How you go about incorporating women and how important it is to you to do that in your artwork.